Your GitHub profile is going to be one of the first things people see and judge you by when looking at your code online. So we're going to take a default, boring profile that might look like this, and we're going to turn it into something like this, where we have badges to showcase the technologies that we know and use, quick links to our best projects, and a section showcasing our GitHub stats, like most used languages, stars, commits, trophies, and more. We will also add a section to auto-generate some data, like recent commits, recently merged PRs, some data and stats about the Python usage across our repo, and some data visualizations that give an even deeper look at how we use Python. Commit message word cloud, heat maps showing the times we most often commit, among other interesting data points. So go to the PythonDataGen tool that I have hosted on GitHub, link in the description. And you're going to want to follow the instructions here. It takes a little bit of time, so I'm not going to do it on this video. But essentially, you're going to make a GitHub API token, and you're going to save it in your profile repo for the GitHub action to access. And then we're going to start on this step here. So we're going to click here, and we can see that we need to copy this config.ini from this repo and put it in our profile repo. So we'll scroll up, find the config.ini, and then we will copy this, go to our local repository, create a new file, config.ini, and we'll paste the contents here. Take note, there's a couple things you might want to change. For one, you absolutely want to change this GitHub username to be your own username. There's a section here to list out repos that you want to ignore, and then you also want to specify the time zone that you're in. And this is for Python's datetime library. So just if you're not, if you're in a weird time zone, just go ahead and look up what the time zones are for that library. The last thing you might want to change is this generate merged PRs, and that will allow us to generate the merged PR section. From there, we're going to want to go back and look at the PythonDataGen tool, and the next step is to open your profile readme.md and add this section here. This tells the tool where to add all that information and visualizations. If you already have some information and data in your profile repo, the readme.md that you want to keep, then just go ahead and add these 3 dashes to the end of your readme. This is how the Python script identifies the end of your readme to append and update the data. But if you're just starting out, I have included a starter template, and we can just copy that here, and then go back to your local profile repo, and you can paste that here. Essentially, all of the badges that I had on my profile can be found at this project here, and then you can choose all of the languages and text that you want to show. But since I've already done that, I'm just going to paste in the ones that I use. And then in this section here is where you want to showcase your projects. You want to keep this kind of short and sweet. You can choose to add screenshots of your projects if you want, but because we have so many visualizations later on in the repo, I chose just to give a brief description. So I'll add mine now. And then for the GitHub stats, you're just going to want to go through and change where it says, and it's all caps username, you're just going to change that to your username. And that will populate all of these GitHub stats cards here. And then of course we want to make sure we keep this triple dash to let the Python tool know where to load all of the information and visualizations that we generate through the GitHub action. So we'll do a git add all, git commit -m, update profile, and we'll go ahead and git push. Now, if you actually go to your GitHub and look at your profile and look at the actual code itself, you can see that we're running a GitHub action. And depending on how many repos you have, this may take a few minutes. Mine usually takes about 7, but you can monitor the output and the build process from here. After the workflow completes, you'll be able to go to your profile and you'll be able to see all of the automatically generated data points and information that we were able to add to the repo. Now, when we want to update this data in the future, once we've added more code, we can just go to actions and then run Python scripts for data gathering, which is the action name. And we can click run workflow and run workflow here. And this will automatically redispatch the workflow, which will run and update all of the data that we generated using the workflow. And you can track that again here in the Actions tab. So yeah, that's one way to spice up your GitHub profile as a Python developer. If you found this useful, I would really, really highly appreciate it if you could go to the tool used to generate all of the graphs and everything, and give this repo a star. Let people know how you were able to generate automatically all of that information and visualizations onto your profile. Thanks.